you know, as many of you know, Margaret Jorgensen served as the election director for Montgomery County Board of Election for 20 years. Margaret retired effective January 1st, 2021. Deputy Director Alison McLennan served as the acting director during last year. The board would like to thank Alison for her hard work and dedication in making this election a success for our voter in Montgomery County. Thank you very much, Alison. The board has for many months engaged in an extensive research for the next permanent election director. The board received resumes from a number of qualified individuals and interviewed several of those candidates. After having extensive discussion in executive session, I believe there is anonymous bipartisan support for a candidate. However, I will entertain a motion to formally appoint the next election director. Is there a motion?
I move we elect the
Second?
next election director, Boris Brakovich.
I'll second that.
Thank you, David. Discussion? Okay,
Diane, I think you as the maker of the motion can go first.
yes.
Right. I want to.
Hold on.
We need.
I'm going to say something about Boris and then you can talk. But now, please raise your hand or say yes to accept the motion, Diane motion. Those in favor?
We're gonna wait, we're gonna vote before we talk. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we move and then I will read more and then ask each of you to say something about Boris. Yes,
Okay.
it has to be appointed. Go ahead.
Well,
Those in favor, say aye.
aye.
Oppose? Oppose? None. Okay, I would like to take a moment to give you some background about Boris because it's not just the public is listening. Boris joined the Board of Election staff in 2020 as a trainer for the election judge program, conducting interactive training program for election judges and assisting in updating and fine-tuning of training materials. Presentation, hand-on exercises. He was promoted later 2020 to manager of the Voter Service Division, which handled voter registration and mailing ballots, including the canvass of ballot. Boris, among other, worked tirelessly in the last election. Thank you, Boris. Prior to coming to the Board of Election, Boris held several positions where he demonstrated a strong managerial leadership, and the board is confident that Boris will be a successful director. Now, board members, one at a time. Raise your hand, please, and then talk. Thank you, Diane.
Yeah, I want to thank David for working so cooperatively with the hard work that we put in. I'm just delighted that we had a good slate of candidates, and together the two parties worked together to vet at least 15 hours worth of discussions with all the candidates, and we are very pleased to have Boris come on with his excellent skills, the collegiality that he has shown that we've all witnessed. I want to thank Allison for all the hard work that I've seen in the 4 years I've been on the board. Thank you very much. And I'm just delighted that we're able to move ahead, and thank you to everybody for all the hard work, vetting candidates and making this excellent selection.
Next, David.
Thank you, Madam President. Boris Brakovich has spent his career promoting democracy and elections, and I'm thrilled that he'll be our election director effective January 1. He's impressed me with his integrity, his commitment to serving the voters, his interpersonal skills, his focus on data, his savvy, and his willingness to consider change when it is warranted. He is not only a very hard worker, but also is someone who gets things done. Since Margaret's Jurgensen's retirement at the end of 2021, Allison McLaughlin has served as the acting director of the Board of Elections, and our information technology manager, Janet Ross, has been serving as the acting deputy director. Several other staff members have been serving in acting positions while the director position remained vacant. We obviously thank not only Allison, but Janet and the entire staff for their dedicated work under the very difficult circumstances during this challenging 2022 election year, which included significant work to implement multiple redistricting decisions by the county, the state legislature, and the courts, a postponed primary election, a recount in the Democratic primary for county executive, and a gubernatorial general election with the highest number of mail-in ballots in the state. As you guys know, and as many members of the public know, Democrats remain a minority on the board until June, when the board majority will change because the party of the governor is changing on January 18th. But thanks to a forward-thinking law that Delegate Eric Lutke introduced, the legislature passed, and Governor Hogan signed in 2016, our board is required in Montgomery County to select an elections director by a bipartisan vote whenever it happens, no matter who is in the majority and who is in the minority. We said in the vacancy announcement for the director that the director would start the job in January 2023, and we have kept to that schedule during a very busy year. I'd like to thank the county's Deputy Chief Administrative Officer, Fariba Kassiri, who greatly assisted the board with managing the county's HR process while correctly deferring to the board to make this important decision, and helped us to get this done on our schedule. I'd also like to thank all of my colleagues for working together on a bipartisan basis this year in this rigorous selection process, at the same time that, of course, we were doing everything else related to this challenging election year. I'd particularly like to thank board member Alex Vincent, who unfortunately can't be here today, but we worked closely together on compiling our interview questions. I'd also like to give a special thanks to Board Vice President Diane Dillon. We spent, as she said, many hours working together and having sometimes spirited discussions about the intensive reference checking and vetting that we did of our top candidates. We board members are all very independent minded and frequently disagree with each other about a variety of topics, but we are united and unanimous in selecting Boris for this position. We all look forward to working with Boris and all the staff as the board prepares for the 2024 election and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Next, Ami, Elise,
Alan has his hand up.
Yeah, Alan has a hand up.
Does Tommy want to go first?
No, I just wanted to say I appreciate all the work that's gone into this selection, and I heartily endorse the result.
Elise,
Alan has his hand up, but my remarks are brief. I just want to say ditto to everything that Ami just said. She expressed it very well, and I wholeheartedly agree.
thank you. Alan,
I echo David's and Diane's appreciation of Allison's and Janet's hard work this last year. Boris, the board was very impressed by your sound answers to our interview questions. In particular, your statement that you've spent most of your public life in implementing change. We also saw you manage the 2020 canvases very well and working hard in doing so. In addition, your references gave you glowing marks, and anyone who graduated from LSE must be smart. I look forward to working with you in the coming years.
finish, Alan? Thank you. Anybody else? Alison, go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to applaud the board for making an exceptional decision. I was delighted when I learned that Boris would be the choice for the next election director. When I told the board last spring that I was not interested in remaining as the long-term election director, and I really was encouraging them to look nationally for the next election director for the office. I know they did. And I know I personally made phone calls to people all around the country to apply for this job. And at the same time, I have had the opportunity to work hand in hand with Boris. He is an exceptional partner. He is an exceptional leader. And even I cannot come up with a better person, a better leader, a better individual to lead the office if I were making the decision myself. So I am just delighted with the board selection, and I really look forward to working with him.
Thank you, Allison. Now, Boris, you want to say something?
Yes, thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Madam President. I would like to be very brief and express my gratitude to all board members for their vote of confidence and for selecting me to be the next elections director for the Montgomery County Board of Elections. I generally appreciate it. The second thing is, during my time with the board, I had absolute pleasure to work with so many dedicated team members, both permanent and temporary staff members, to work with my colleagues across other jurisdictions, State Board of Elections, and the county. Work was not always easy, tasks were not always simple, but it's that team spirit, it's that commitment that always pushed us through and to deliver what was needed for the voter and for the county and for the election process itself. And last thing, also very briefly, it might seem or look like a distant future, but the staff is already looking into 2024 presidential election cycle. And I think that we will be in good shape and we will deliver for the benefit of all the voters of Montgomery County. Again, thank you, board, for the selection. I really appreciate it. And we move on. We go to work.
Thank you. Any other word?
If I could just have 30 more seconds that I forgot to thank someone very important, and that is our board attorney, Kevin Karpinski, who has been a tremendous help to us in this process, of course, and in everything else, but certainly in this process. And we really appreciate all of the assistance he provided.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Here, here.
Thank you so very much. I wish all of you happy new year and thank you so very much. That was a good teamwork. Thank you. Congratulations, Boris. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move we adjourn the meeting.
Second. Who will
I'll second it.
Thank you, David. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Happy New Year to all. Bye.
Happy
Happy
New Year to
New
all.
Year.
New Year, everybody.
Okay.
Happy
Happy
Thanks a
New
lot.
Year.
Stay well, everybody.